From one historic game ball week to another. Last week we crowned our first two-time game ball winner. This week we send one through the uprights to a kicker for the first time. Yes, there were a ton of great nominees this week, but it's not every day you see a 43-year-old state record fall. Hello again, everyone. Jody Norstead here with another unveiling of our Midco SN game ball winner, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance. Congrats to Shanley kicker Emmet Kenney for earning this polished pigskin. The Deacon Senior knocked home a 58-yard field goal against Cheyenne on Friday night that at the time helped Shanley draw within 5 points of the Mustangs early in the fourth quarter. Cheyenne won the game, but Kenney's kick went viral. More on that in a moment. There was another wild performance Friday night that caught a lot of people's attention. So instead of putting 6 different players on the top performers list, I'm just going to go ahead and give a shout out to Mayport CG in Tri-State for playing one of the highest scoring games you'll ever see. The Patriots defeated Tri-State 74-48, with the two teams combining to score 10 touchdowns alone in the third quarter. The two teams combined to score a whopping 122 points overall. That's pretty impressive. Last week's game ball winner, Sawyer Satcham, rushed for 267 and 4 touchdowns and passed for another 132 yards and a score. Ethan Bergstrom racked up 4 touchdowns, 1 on a kick return. For Tri-State, Derek Carl rushed for 3 scores and a pass, and then passed for a trio of touchdowns before he got injured, while Brandon Grunwald caught 3 touchdown passes and returned a kickoff for a touchdown. That is a mouthful. Just talking about that makes me tired. Those are just some of the insane offensive numbers that those two teams put together. All right, let's get to our top performers now. And we go from defense optional to defense mandatory. That's the name of the game for Bismarck St. Mary's right now, where the Saints are 4-0 with 4 consecutive shutouts to open the year. The latest goose egg came from Devil's Lake, who hasn't been able to find the end zone in 2 meetings now with St. Mary's this season. It's quite the turnaround for a Saints team that allowed over 17 points per contest last year. Nobody will score on them this week either, as they enter a bye week. The Cavalier Tornadoes are still perfect on the year. Brandon Clem helped them get a convincing win over Benson County on Friday, rushing for over 200 yards on just 11 carries and scoring a total of 5 touchdowns, all in the first half. Out west, Bowman County beat up on Southern McLean 48-12 behind big games from Quade Lardy and Caleb Duffield. Duffield etches his name on the list again after rushing for a touchdown, catching a touchdown, and here's the big kicker. He intercepted not 1, not 2, but 3 passes on defense. Someone might want to warn Hart River not to throw his way on Friday night. Ray Powers Lake's Tyson Engett is a problem, and he's only a sophomore. Engett racked up 133 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. He returned both a punt and a kick for touchdowns and intercepted a pass on defense in a win over Lewis and Clark. Engett and the Outlaws have a huge matchup with 5-0 Surrey on Friday night, one that'll likely determine the Region 3 champ. Jonah Harder is doing his best to try to guide Kidder County back to the Fargo Dome. The Kidder County senior QB and defensive back was marvelous in the team's 46-18 win over previously unbeaten Beach. Harder completed 7 of his 11 passes for 173 yards and a trio of touchdowns, while also rushing for 90 and 2 scores. He's putting together a Senior Athlete of the Year type resume. Mount Regent New England's 6-foot, 180-pound running back and linebacker Nathan Kaufman lands on the list this week. One day after the passing of his grandmother, the junior put together an inspiring performance, rushing for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 34-12 win over South Border. Cheyenne's 𝗕𝗶𝗱𝗰𝗡 can't keep himself off this list. The NDSU commit rushed for 166 yards in the 43-38 win over 4th-ranked Shanley. Penu scored a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and a kick return score, and the Mustangs needed every one of them in a close victory over the Deacons. Penu was closing in on 700 rushing yards this season while sitting at 11 total touchdowns, both tops in the EDC. Braden Keene came up big in a rivalry game. The Shiloh Christian senior turned 14 carries into 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also added 60 yards through the air in the 35-14 win over New Salem Glen Olin. The Skyhawks have a chance to make a big statement each of the next 2 weeks with games against unbeaten Killdeer and 4-1 Bowman County. Jamestown is 3-0 for the first time since 2005, and it wouldn't have happened had Ty Munson not led them back from a 20-0 deficit in the third quarter. Munson tossed a trio of touchdown passes, including the game-tying touchdown with 26 seconds left on a 4th and 7 when he hit an open Preston Kröber for the score. The Blue Jays added the extra point to win it 21-20. They play Valley City this week for the Iron Helmet. Last but certainly not least, Simon Rumfo from Langdon-Edmore-Munich, to nobody's surprise, is on the list again. The senior QB completed 12 of 15 passes for 276 yards and 5 touchdowns. Then he added 130 yards on the ground with 2 more scores for a total of 7 touchdowns in the 48-16 win over Harvey Wells County. Make it 30 wins in a row for Langdon-Edmore-Munich. I don't usually reveal runner-ups, but he was the one this week. Rumfo and the Cardinals host 4-1 West Hope Newbury-Glenburn on Friday. Should be a good one. We'll be there for highlights on Varsity Sports Live. All right, now to the player who stood out above the rest. Shanley's Emmet Kenney has been working his butt off trying to become an elite kicker. He performed so well during the Coles kicking camp competitions over the summer that they dubbed him a 5-star kicker. He has offers from NDSU and USD already, and on Friday night when the Deacons were on the 41-yard line trailing Cheyenne by 8 in the 4th, they had no hesitation to send the senior out to attempt a 58-yard field goal. Kenney sent it through the uprights with room to spare. The field goal unofficially set a new North Dakota high school record and immediately blew up on social media. To put it in perspective, NDSU's all-time best was a 55-yarder in 1997. Former Fargo North standout Brandon Helving has UND's all-time best of 56-yarder in 2007. Kenney's 58-yard field goal also would be better than the Vikings franchise record held by Blair Walsh and Paul Ettinger, who each hit from 56 yards out. Kenney is now 3 for 6 on the season for field goals and a perfect 19 of 19 on extra points. Of his 29 kickoffs, 19 of those have been touchbacks. Congrats to Emmet Kenney, who wins this week's Midco SN Game Ball, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance. Now, we've never had someone make a field goal with a Midco SN Game Ball. Maybe Emmet will be the first to do it. Congrats to our top performers as well. If you're looking to watch football this weekend, we have you covered. We'll bring you Bismarck versus Legacy live on Friday night, and then it's Minot at Century on Saturday afternoon, all on Midco Sports Network. We'll see you then.